For your GCSE exam, you may need to write an article within paper 2, section B. What better way to write better articles than reading actual published ones? In order to get ideas and nab phrases and techniques, in this video I'll give you 2 articles from the New Statesman which I'll annotate and analyse in detail. Let's break down exactly what constitutes a brilliant article. I'm going to get you a higher grade. Stay tuned and watch Schofield on Shakespeare.
Abbiamo il cuore a strisce, portaci dove vuoi.
Questions about nature are popular in past GCSE questions. Here's an article in which John Burnside writes about the threats to Antarctica's penguins. Each section of the article will appear at 5-second intervals. Press pause to start reading and jot down any words, phrases or techniques that you like to be potentially used within your own writing. Time now for some of my observations. Articles should be factual, yes, but that doesn't mean that they are boring. Grab the interest of your reader in the opening paragraph. Here, Burnside does this by using the hyperbolic, slightly colloquial phrase terminally buried in the sand to reference people who hide away and refuse to face obvious facts. You all know that articles must contain facts and statistics, but in my experience, few GCSE pupils do this well. This particular sentence includes the name of the magazine where the research was published, Science, the date of publication, country name, comparative insight, a quarter of its birds lost compared with 1970. It then goes on to reference a second report which has a different date, is from a different source, the British Trust for Ornithology, a different country, the UK rather than the US, and gives similarly devastating figures, losing 73 million birds. I'm a big fan of tricolons or sets of 3. Here we have habitat loss, toxic farming practices, and an ever-increasing exposure to disease. This particular tricolon use provides 3 specific causes of the bird loss. Use technical vocabulary within your articles to show that you are an expert, that you really know what you are talking about. Here the writer refers to Gen 2 penguins, whatever these are. Pupils achieving the highest marks for this part of the paper use punctuation precisely and ensure sentences are consistently in complete control. Notice the commas which insert the clarifying phrase in any real sense between the subject it and the object news. Further signs here that the writer is an expert in their topic. We have skuas, kelp gulls and terns. The reader has confidence that this writer really does know what they are talking about. Make sure that you use a wider range of punctuation, so not just commas and full stops, I beg you. Look at how the brackets are used here to provide additional subsidiary information. Make sure that you consistently use dates and reference relevant organisations, which of course you can make up provided that they sound realistic. Articles need quotations from experts. This particular one has been embedded seamlessly. Remember to consider paragraph length. In general, I would go for fairly short paragraphs within an article and would definitely include a short paragraph for effect. This one contains 2 sentences. However, for the purposes of GCSE, I would include a 1-sentence paragraph for effect to really show the examiner that you are crafting and varying your structure. Vary the way you introduce quotations. Vary your quotation source. Previously, we had a spokesperson for BirdLife International. Now it is Lucas Kruger's turn. The previous quotation was embedded. This one is introduced by a delicious colon. Look at how each sentence begins. Some, however, it, if. Now look back over your past articles. Does every sentence within an individual paragraph begin with a different word? You can use a circular structure for both creative writing and articles. Paragraph 1 made reference to heads terminally being buried in the sand. This is now tweaked to a future historian with their hand above the sand, suggesting a new informed consciousness about the decline of bird life. Time now for you to read another article, dear chums, pupils and subscribers. This one is about the death of Brianna Gay and includes an extended interview with her mother. Read this through now and consider how it is written. Yes, it's pause time. Some reflections. This is a feature article on an individual. However, before giving us the individual's perspective, the writer describes the scene of where the interview is taking place. Personal details about the interviewee add interest. There are tattoos. Notice the spelling T-O-O that travel up her arm. I like the verb travel. It suggests some kind of interesting journey rather than mere sadomasochistic body art. Articles must give plenty of facts and sum up key relevant events. Here we have the full names of the killers, their ages, the date they were sentenced, the length of their prison terms, a note that they are different. Jenkinson got 22 years, whilst Eddie got 20. And short, pithy quotations from the judge. Something many of my students struggle with is nailing the tone of these articles. The passive tense, if used carefully and sparingly, might be helpful in helping you create that appropriately formal tone. There are words and phrases that can be okay within dialogue but not elsewhere. Here is an example of that, 24/7. If helpful, you may want to jot down this structure for using statistics in a precise, realistic way. When you read, keep looking at how published writers use punctuation. Here, the phrase enclosed within dashes provide additional, interesting, relevant information. And here the colon sets up a purposeful sense of anticipation about the next step Gay would take. You need to keep giving more information and facts throughout the article. A big part of this article is about mental health, and so the writer consistently uses subject-related vocabulary such as NHS England, Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, diagnose, epidemic, pandemic, therapy, mindfulness. At times you should explain or define terms which the reader may not have heard of, or which is more likely will not know exactly what they mean. This is useful. Note how the writer shifts from using direct speech to speeding things up and ensuring variety with a single sentence of indirect speech at the end of the paragraph. This works so much better than merely sticking to direct speech, which might have looked like, and what about the millions of children who are already on social media? Would platforms retrospectively check the ages of existing users? Whether you are writing a letter, an article, a blog, or a speech, in this part of the exam you must vary your sentence structures. As previously discussed, this might mean varying the initial word of every sentence in a paragraph, but it should also mean length and type, i.e. whether you're using simple, compound, or complex sentences. When we think of similes and metaphors, we probably think more of narrative and descriptive writing rather than articles. But a carefully chosen simile or metaphor can provide a different illuminating perspective, as it does here in the suggestion that the internet is a little like Pandora's box in terms of what can be discovered. Make sure that your article doesn't end too abruptly. Here we have the forward-looking, purposeful final sentence from the interviewee.
This has been a Schofield on Shakespeare production, helping you write superb articles for GCSE. Many thanks for watching.